In this video, I will discuss about application load balancer. So what is application load balancer? We will try to understand with the help of the diagram. So this is application load balancer and we have two different subnets and these two subnets are running the EC2 instance, and I'm installing the web server 1 and web server 2 in the two different EC2 instance. So here the role of the application load balancer is to distribute the load to two different web servers. So in this particular video I will try to show how exactly we can distribute the load with the help of the path. So this is also called as the path based routing. So let us try to do this with the help of the Aws console. So here I am having the Aws console here. So what I am going to do is I will try to launch two EC2 instances. Since I have to install two web servers, so I am trying to launch two EC2 instances. So now 0 instances are running. So I will click on instance. I will launch the instance. Select the Amazon machine. I select the instance type. Now select the VPC. I am selecting a default VPC here. So you can you create your own VPC, and I will select subnet in the US East 1A. So I will enable the subnetting since this is a public subnet, and here I will try to configure the web server 1. So this is the code for the web server 1. So what I am doing is I will create the directory. In that particular directory I am trying to write some code over here in the index.html. So I'll just copy this and paste it over here. So next go and add storage, add tags. So here I will call it as web server 1. So I will give the name and value. I will configure the security group and I will just call it as security group of web server 1, and I will keep SSH port open, and here I will keep HTTP port 80 open. So review and launch the instance. So here I will select the key. I will launch the instance. So after that I will try to launch one more instance. So this is like web server 2. I select this Amazon machine and I select the instance g2.micro, and here I will try to select US East 1B, the subnet in US East 1B, and I will enable this auto assign IP. So here I will try to paste the code for the web server 2. So next go add the storage. Next add the tags. So here I will give the name as web server 2. Configure the security group. Web server 2. I keep SSH port open, and I will keep HTTP open. Review and launch the instance, and here I select the key as public key. I acknowledge that I have access to the corresponding private key. So after creating these two instances, the next step will be the creating the target group. So here each EC2 instance will be located in the target group. So the target group will be attached to the load balancer. So I have launched two instances here, web server 1 and web server 2. And what I am doing is I will try to copy this IP address and try to see whether the web server is properly installed or not. So here it is working, and I will see, I'll give the path and check whether I am able to get the page. So this is the web server 1. So here I am able to get the data. So similarly I will go for a second EC2 instance and I will check for this. I'll copy this IPv4 address and I'll paste it over here. So here I will say web2 index.html. So this is web server 2 running. So after creating this EC2 instance, now I need to create a target groups. So in the target group I have to register the EC2 instance, and after this I need to attach it to the load balancer. So let us try to do this. I will try to go for target groups here, and I will try to create the target groups. So first I will say create target group. So this is a type of instance, and I will say target group of web server 1. Okay, and here it is HTTP1 and health checks. So including the health check protocol will tell you whether the instance is healthy or not. After this I have to register the path. So this will be the web1 index.html. So I will say next. So after that we have to register the instance. So I will select this instance, include as pending below. So here wrongly I selected. I will select the first instance, web server 1. So create the target group. So one target group is created now. You can see here target group 1 web 1. After this, one more target group I'll create. I will say instance, and here it is target group web 2. Thus VPC is default. So here it is default VPC, and the health checks will be HTTP, and the index will be web2/index.html. Let's go and say next. So register the target and say include as pending below. So create the target group. So the target group web1 and web2 is created now. So after creating this target group, what I am doing is I will create the load balancer. So I will go to the load balancer. So create the load balancer. So I will select the application load balancer. Since we are doing path-based routing, I will select this. I will say create. So here I will give like ALB, application load balancer, and internet facing. So here internet facing means it will face the internet. It is available over internet. So this is the type IPv4, and after that I have selected this particular VPC, and subnets. I have the subnets in this particular region. So I will select US East 1A and 1B. Since I created EC2 instance in this particular AZ, so I am selecting these two. So after this we try to create a security group, create a new security group. So I will say ALV SG, and description is allows HTTP connections. This is a default VPC. Now inbound rules, I will add the inbound rules. So this is the HTTP, and I will making it as a public. You can make restricted to your IP also. That also can be done. So create the security group. So after creating the security group, I will try to select this. I'll cancel this default security group, and HTTP it has a listener at port 80. So I had to select a target group. Now I am selecting the default target group. So this I will select it as the target web 1. Whatever request is going to come, it is going to forward it to the web server 1. So create the load balancer. So the state is changed to active now. So if I copy the DNS name here and I will try to access the web servers. So let us try to copy and paste here, and I will try to access here. So this is Apache web page that is open. So let us say I am able to access web server 1. So I am able to access web server 1. So if I want to forward to the web server 2, it is not going to be forwarded, because since I have not registered the target to the load balancer. So let us try to edit the rules. So I will go here and try to edit the rules. So go to the listener, and in that I will try to edit the rules. So here requests that are not routed will be forwarded to the web server 1. So if I try to add this rule, so what is that rule I am going to add? I will add the condition add rule depending upon the path. So if the path is having webs 1 forwarded by anything, so we will add the action forwarded to the target group 1. So save this, and again I am going to add one more rule, and if path is having web server 2, so action is like forwarded to the web server 2. So save this, and after saving I will just come back, and again I will copy the DNS name. We will try to access this. I will go to the description, and I will copy the DNS name, and I will try to access both the web server. So by default it goes to the web server 1. If I give the path as web 1, so this should be routed to the web server 1. And if I give the path as web server 2, so this is routed to the web server 2. So here we are like distributing the traffic depending upon the path that is given by the user. So this is called as the application load balancer. So if you like this video, subscribe to the channel. Thanks for watching this video.